Another example, the largest community development bank in the US, the first ever, is a company called Shore Bank. Amazing company. Absolutely incredible, pioneering company. Shore Bank's model that was started in the 70s said, hey, this thing about redlining, saying certain communities are unbankable, is a bunch of BS. And they set out to prove that wrong, and they did this great job of getting people all over the country to be socially responsible investors and make deposits in Shore Bank, and then they would lend money to customers in lower income communities for affordable housing, minority-owned businesses, et cetera. Well, within that, without any intentionality around it, they ended up marketing for deposits to upper-income Caucasians in cities around America and marketing their loans to lower-income African Americans, but not marketing the deposits. And guess what? They were really successful. They loaned money to a bunch of great entrepreneurs, minority-owned businesses, did very well, but none of those folks do their business banking with Shore Bank because they weren't asked to. And over the last few years, Shore Bank has become very focused on saying, hey, we want you to bank with us. We want you to be depositing money so we can loan it to other people. And it's been incredibly successful because they already had a relationship of trust. So question the conventional wisdom on who is your customer base and make sure that we're designing our products and positioning our products so they meet the needs, and we're marketing our products and services so they meet the needs of that broader customer base as opposed to just sticking with the choir. It can be tempting, and a thing like LOHAS is wonderful because we all gather together and say it's fun to be together with the choir, but it's really dangerous if we leave it at the choir and don't recognize the incredible power in the marketplace if we reach to new audiences. The other thing I want to touch on for a brief moment is making sure that we are also looking at who we hire as staff and who we do our strategic partnerships with, and what is our supply chain. If we're broadening our market, does our organization reflect the market that we're broadening to? So to do one more example from Shore Bank, Shore Bank recognized that a very significant institution in the African American community is the church. And one of the challenges that these churches have, which are not only faith communities where people worship, but they also tend to be the largest social service providers in many communities. They own elder care facilities, they own daycare facilities, they own preschools. And you know what? It's very difficult for them to get credit. It's very difficult for them to access capital because you walk into a traditional bank and you're a church and your revenue stream, your model, doesn't match the little blanks on the form. We pass the plate around every Sunday and don't worry, the money will be there to repay your loan, does not work with most loan officers. Okay? Yet Shore Bank looked at that and said, actually, these are very stable institutions for the most part, and that money does come in every Sunday, and we're going to learn more about them. And they went out and they hired a couple of ministers, and one of whom was already a banker, others that they trained to be bankers, and started reaching out to do faith-based lending and started loaning money to build those daycare centers and those elder care centers and those affordable housing projects and to restore the churches themselves. And it became very, very successful because not only did they access that set of customers that were previously unbanked and were very good customers and started spreading the word out, and now they're banking close to 1,000 faith institutions around the country. But guess what? All those faith institutions have congregants that need home mortgages, that need small business loans, that make deposits, that need certificates of deposit, and became a great customer base. But one of the things that Shore Bank did really early on is they said the people that are the bankers in these communities have to speak the language of these communities, have to be able to engage in these communities, and when the community comes and sits down and talks with you, they have to believe that you understand who they are, what they do, and how their institutions really, really work. And it's been very successful. Okay. Next one is, in the book is the sixth practice, which is around what's driving customer decision. It's about communicating value and values. One of the things that we found over and over again is that conventional brands really focus too much on the value proposition only, and socially responsible brands often focus almost exclusively on the values proposition and do not put enough focus on the value proposition. And understanding what's driving the customer's decision, what's driving the choice making, and what's a primary driver versus a secondary driver can be extremely powerful in your marketing being more effective. So for example, we've all, I'm sure, are aware of the incredible growth in the organic industry to a great degree over the last 20 years and exponentially in the last 10. And it's not that organic suddenly appeared. I had the good fortune of growing up as the child of hippies and, founders of a great co-op in San Francisco. And back in the 60s and the 70s, there was a lot of availability of organic produce, but you had to go to a co-op to get it. And what's true is if you look at the core drivers for how most Americans buy food, their primary choice on how they buy food is not the impact on the environment, is not the practices with which it is grown and what that means to the livelihoods and the economies of rural farming communities. Is not about what the impact is on water quality, it's how the food tastes and how the food looks. And so if you picture all the produce being piled up and nothing that's bruised and nothing that's damaged being removed because socially we do not believe in that, you're saying goodbye to a whole set of customers. And with the advent and use of really smart merchandising with organic produce, and starting to put forward the messaging and the marketing of this food tastes better. This food is more flavorful. This food fills your soul as well as your body. That starts connecting to a much more prominent customer driver. You want to make sure that we're reaching out to the core values of our bullseye customer. And for many of our businesses, we started with early adapter, true believer customers. We started with customers, if I'm in the organic food business 20 years ago, my customers were true believers, and a lot of those customers were making the choice around saying, I want to vote with my dollars, I want to buy food that's grown in a way that's sustainable, that has the right impact on the environment, that has the right impact on workers, et cetera. And it's important that that message is there for the bullseye audience. It's also important that we expand our message and give a connection to the values and the value drivers that the broader audience is looking for. So another quick example of that is there's a company called G Diapers. They are the first big mass-produced flushable diaper. Basically, their thing is, hey, we're going to put human waste where it belongs, down the toilet and on the landfill. And if you look at the concept on G Diapers, there's a massive problem with disposable diapers in terms of what the amount of volume they take up in landfills. They take 500 years to decompose if they do. You're also putting human waste in a place that is not meant for human waste, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's also a lot of environmental issue with cloth diapers. A lot of people with the concerns about the hot water use and detergent use, et cetera. And so G Diapers is a technology that can be flushed down the toilet. It's completely hydrodegradable. And the initial idea was, hey, this is going to be a great product for environmentally conscious parents who are going through that debate. Which do I use, cloth or disposable? Oh my gosh, they're both bad. And what they found when they got into their market research to develop their brand is there's a tiny portion of that market where their driver is an environmental driver. The vast majority of that market, their driver is the comfort of their baby, the health of their baby. They are worried about, well, will this product give my baby diaper rash? Will this product keep my baby dry? Will this product leak all over the floor and create a mess for me? And if all those things are answered, I would prefer an environmentally sustainable product. And so they ended up switching their branding as they were going into launch based upon doing outreach and early trial and putting their primary message being about, this is the best product for your baby. All the toxic stuff that's inside disposable diapers isn't in here. You're not putting that near your baby. This is more this is better for your baby. They get less diaper rash because you change them slightly more often. This has all kinds of health and comfort benefits for your baby and for you, and it's better for the environment. So it's a really important lesson. If you look at their marketing materials, while there's a little bit of a green idea going on here, the dominant image shifted to being images of cute, happy, comfortable, healthy babies. Another great example of this is Patagonia. Patagonia, and the quotes are numerous, over and over again has said, we care deeply about the environment. We are an early pioneering company in so many ways on those practices, but no one will buy our product if it doesn't keep you warm when you're hiking in the rain. No one will buy our product is when you're hot skiing and you go to unzip it, the zipper jams. The number one driver for people buying our product is it is durable, it works, it keeps you warm when you need to be warm and cool when you need to be cool, it lasts forever, and it's incredibly comfortable. You buy one of our fleeces, you're not going to be going, oh, that thread is bothering me. They are beautifully made and designed for active people, and that's our core driver. And our secondary driver is that we make a brand promise that's socially responsible and environmentally responsible. And they do an absolutely terrific job, if you look at the positioning of their marketing, at putting the core driver front and center about this is something that's going to connect with your desire to have an active, engaged life outdoors, and a secondary driver that is this lets you vote with your dollars for a company that's responsible and that carries forth your values.